Planning. The theory part of the course is nearly over, and you are now almost ready to begin your marvellous adventure that will lead you to explore the seas all over the world. The underwater world is about to open its doors to you and reveal its fascinating secrets. However, before beginning this wonderful experience, you still have to learn an extremely important aspect of diving: planning. Only with careful planning can you guarantee that your dives will be easy, safe, and enjoyable. The organisation of a dive can be divided into 3 phases: advanced planning, pre-dive preparation, on-site planning. The advanced planning phase should begin well in advance. The first thing to decide is the dive objective. It is essential to establish exactly what you are going to do under the water. For example, underwater photography involves very different choices than if you are going to search for an object that has been lost on the seabed. On the basis of the objective, you should then choose the most suitable dive buddy or buddies to join you on this adventure and decide where the dive is going to take place. According to the objective and the chosen location, you must now establish the actual dive site and how you are going to get into the water and, more importantly, how you are going to get out. You should also establish an alternative site in case the weather or sea conditions make your diving at your first choice of site difficult or impossible. Having done this, you can now go on to find out as much information as possible about the site and the underwater conditions: depth, type of seabed, water temperature, currents, and so on. It is also important to consult a long-range weather forecast. Internet is a great source of information, but remember that not all of the information is reliable. You can also get a lot of information from the diving centre you will be diving with, or from other divers who are familiar with the site. It is extremely important to make sure that the information you get about emergency services is correct, such as the nearest hospitals and hyperbaric chambers, and the telephone numbers of organisations that offer assistance to divers. On the basis of the dive objective, you should choose the equipment you will need and make sure that it is all working perfectly. You should do this a few days before the dive so that there is time to have it repaired if necessary. On the day before the dive, you should pack your dive bag or basket. The best way to do this is to pack the things you will need last at the bottom of the bag or basket. In this way, assembling the equipment will be easier and a lot tidier, which is particularly important when you are diving with a large group of divers. Before the dive itself, you must do the on-site dive planning together with your buddy. For example, you must decide who is going to lead the dive. It is also important to agree on the signals to be used and what to do in case of any difficulties. Finally, you have to establish a depth and time limit and the air reserve at which you should begin the ascent. Obviously, all this planning is of little use if you or your buddy don't dive as planned. With experience, you will learn to plan dives easily. Keeping a diary with all the information about the dive and the site, your impressions and what you saw and experienced is a good way of keeping a report that will be extremely useful for planning dives in the future. All divers keep a personal logbook. The PSS logbook is one of the handiest. A logbook also serves as proof of your diving experience over the years to those who don't know you as a diver. Every dive should be signed by the instructor, the guide, or your dive buddy.